Okay, here we are. This is OOC 6 on Thursday. So first question, what is the value of the expression below in simplest terms? So I have two fractions that are being multiplied together. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this so that it actually looks a little bit easier to read. And 1/3. Okay, first thing I need to do, I have a mixed number, so I need to convert it into an improper fraction. 3 times 18 is 54 plus 1 is 55 over 3 times 4 over 5. Now, I can just see here, no cross buddies or no cross cancellation opportunities here, but I do have one here. 5 and 55 have a common factor of 5. 5 goes into 5 once. 5 goes into 55 11 times. 4 times a negative 11 is going to be negative 44 over 3. Now, if I wanted to keep it like that, certainly fine. I'm going to put this in decimal form, though, just as a reminder. Okay, whatever is on top is what's going to go inside the house. So I have 44. That's being divided by 3. 3 goes into 4 one time. I'm left with 14. 3 goes into 14 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. And then that's going to leave me with a 2. If I would keep adding to my decimal, which at this point I should, I'm going to add my decimal, add my 0, drop my 0 down. 3 goes into 26 times. 6 times 3 is 18. And right here, I'm going to start to notice this is where I'm going to get that repeating decimal. So I'm going to go ahead and just round it to 6. 6 keeps going on, so I'm going to just round it to 14.67. I have to remember to add this negative sign, though, because I'm multiplying a positive with a negative. And when you multiply and there are different signs, you have to take the sign of negative. Okay, for my next one, I'm simplifying. Goodness gracious, they're giving me a lot here to work with. So I have two parentheses here, but when I look at the parentheses, I can't combine the terms on the inside because they're not like terms. So in this case, I need to use distributive property. So let's go ahead. I'm going to use this 5, and I'm going to multiply the 5 times negative 2/3. I'm going to multiply the 5 times x. So 5 times negative 2/3. This is like 5 over 1, right? If I wanted to make it into a fraction, I just multiply across. 5 times negative 2, that's going to be negative 10 over 3, plus 5 times x is 5x, plus a positive 4 times an x is positive 4x. And then I have 4, so I've given that 4 to this x. Now I need to give the 4 to 3.05. This is where I'm going to do some side math to keep my paper nice and clean. 3.05 times 4. And when I do that, I get a value of 12.20. So that's going to be 12.20. Now I just made a mistake because I wrote it down, but I added an addition sign here. Look right here. If I'm multiplying a positive and a negative together, I have to remember it's going to be a negative value. That will throw my complete problem off. Now, there are different terms here, so I need to combine all the like terms. So first case, I have these two that have the same variable, which is an x, and then I have two constants, so I'm going to put boxes around these. So easy enough, let's just combine positive 5x and positive 4x. That's going to give me a 9x. Now, I need to combine 10/3 and negative 12/20. Easiest way for me to do this, I'm actually going to convert this guy into a decimal and then combine, because I think that is going to be a little bit faster method. If you wanted to make this into a fraction and then combine, that would work as well. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remember that when I'm making a fraction into a decimal, whatever's on top goes on the inside of the house. So it's 3 into 10. 3 goes into 10 3 times. And guess what's going to happen here? Just like in the previous problem, you're going to have repeating decimal. So that's a 3 that's going to go on forever and ever, ever. I'm going to stop right there with it and do negative 3.33333. So I have 9x, and I need to combine negative 3.33333, and I'm just going to do it to the hundredths place because the 12.20 is to the negative hundredths place, and 1220. Same sign, I got to add That's going to give me a value of 1553, 9x, and you can write plus a negative 1553, or if you just wrote 9x minus 1553, that would also be the same exact answer. Moving on to number 3, the expression the 2.5c plus 28 can be used to convert a temperature in degrees Celsius, C, to degrees Fahrenheit, F. If the temperature is 45 degrees Celsius, what is the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit? This problem is throwing so many of you off, and it's actually not that difficult of a problem. All we're using here is substitution to evaluate what's going on in this scenario. So we're going to take the 45 degrees, which is representing Celsius, or C, and we're just going to insert that right there into the problem. So we're going to do 2.5, and where the C is, I'm going to put a parentheses. And I used to, when I taught this in 6th grade, I called the substitution, I called that the parking lot. So we're going to make a parking lot here, and we're going to put our value in the parking lot. Is 45 plus 28. Now, all I need to remember here is my order of operations. Order of operations tells me that multiplication has to come before addition. I'm going to do side math again on this. 2.5 times 45, and I got to remember I have a decimal there. I'm going to ignore the decimal while I'm actually multiplying. 5 times 5 is 25. Put my 5 here, bring up my 2. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 2. Very good. I'm going to add my x here for my placeholder. 4 times 5 is 20. Bring up the 2. And then I have 2 times 4, which is 8 plus 2 is 10 again. I'm going to add down 5 to 11. And I'm going to add my dot here. Now, this is 11. Oh, excuse me. I just had an error here. I moved it one too many spaces. So instead of having 11, apologize about that. I looked at this wrong for just a second. I only have one spot. I'm moving that decimal. So the decimal here, move it one spot over. So the actual number I need is 112.5. 112.5 plus 28. So I'm going to add, and I need to line up again. I'm going to put the 28 underneath the tens column. Oop, I'm covering it up with my finger, sorry. Underneath the tens column, the 8 underneath the ones column, and then I'll add a 0 back here to hold place. As soon as I just add down, this is going to give me a value of 140.5 degrees. And let's put the F there to note that is in Fahrenheit, because I just converted the temperature over. Okay, simplify 5K minus 10K minus 8 when K equals 3. This is the same thing that we just did in this previous problem. It just looks a lot more simple because there's not all those words there, but it's ultimately the same thing. Everywhere I see a K, I'm going to place this 3 in the parking lot. And then I'm going to use order of operations to solve. 5 times 3 is 15. 10 times 3, or negative 10 times 3 is going to be a negative 30. Minus 8. I'm going to solve left to right because all I have left is subtraction. 15 minus 30. Or you can look at this if you use keep, change is 15 plus a negative 30, which is going to be negative 15. Minus 8. Okay, and again, I can use keep, change again. 15 plus a negative 8. Is going to be a negative 23. And no unit there. Thank you all. Great job.